So I was reading an article. This is from Blaze Media. For those of you who don't know, that's kind of like further to the right than Fox News. Just total fucking insanity. But here's the title of the article. University of Florida College of Medicine is indoctrinating its students with destructive diversity initiatives. So, first of all, um, diversity isn't a bad thing. It's not destructive. I don't know what fucking realm of the multiverse you live in where diversity brings about Armageddon, but I gotta say, seems like a lot of hyperbole in just the title alone. But the article goes on to explain the destructive elements of this diversity indoctrination. Equity and anti-racism initiatives are the main issue. Okay? Divisive philosophies and other forms of social justice activism. Well, divisive philosophies, you can't just teach one aspect or one opinion or one idea about a subject. Everybody's got to be able to express an opinion, and you have to be able to look at both sides of a situation, of an argument, of a debate or whatever. Because if you don't, you're missing out on something. You have a blind spot. So studying it is not a bad thing either. Now, here we go. Here's what pisses Republicans and hillbillies and rednecks and fucking idiots. This is what pisses them off. The university's code of ethics asks students to pledge to several anti-racism and diversity, equity, and inclusion statements, including foster a just and inclusive community by speaking out against social injustice, racism, prejudice, and inequity. It also asks students to acknowledge and minimize our implicit and explicit biases as we relate to others. So, this is the bad thing that the right is pissed off. It's pissed off about. Teaching people to foster a just and inclusive community by speaking out against social injustice, racism, prejudice, and inequity. Now, do any of those fucking things sound bad? Inherently, those are all good things. How is that destructive? How is that bringing about the end of society as we know it? Indoctrination is a pretty harsh word when if the subject of your ire is all good things for society. I would go out on a limb and say, yeah, go ahead and indoctrinate people into a philosophy of, hey, let's not be assholes to everybody. Let's try and treat everybody equally, no matter what race they are, or sex, or political affiliation, or what the fuck ever. How you identify, where you stick your dick, what you allow in your vagina. Who cares? They're still human beings. How is it bad? And if your only fucking argument is, well, it goes against my beliefs in my religion, go fuck yourself. Okay? It astonishes me that the same people who will argue and die on the hill that there's only two genders, and being transgender or identifying as something, or all this other shit that they think is made up, which I will talk about later on, that I can understand their frustration, but if they think that's all made up, but they're willing to believe a book written thousands of years ago about shit that happened well before written language was being used, so all of the religious stories were being passed down orally, and you believe in magic, you believe in wizards and witches and gods and demons and all this other shit, you don't have a footing to argue against the reality of transgender or gays, or the LGBTQ community. You can't say none of that is real and then argue that because your Bible says it's not real, that's your justification. You're using something that isn't real to shit on something else and say that that's not real. That's not an argument. That's horse shit. Keep your religion out of it. That's just my thought. So once again, I just want to say, not being racist, not being prejudiced, not being bigoted, trying to be inclusive. These are not bad things. They're not destructive things. It's not indoctrination to want society to advance, become better, live up to our ideals. And I got to say, the indoctrination of religion, that is what's dragging us. That's what keeps us from moving forward. Just my opinion. You guys have a good day.